We finally got there, tea and coffee. Sorry about the delay. I hope you enjoyed the first session. It's good to see. Thank you. Shrink with that. Is that better? So we're ready to kick off session number 2. Another exciting range of speakers. So let's start off. As I said, you all know me from the first session. So what I want to talk about is how to make rain gardens engaging, not just for the public, but also for the school children. So this is one of my favourite rain gardens in Waltham Forest. It was a really nice design. You can see how you can see it's a rain garden from the inlets going into it. It's just a really, kind of picture you put on your wall, actually. It's just, how to make rain gardens aesthetic. Stepping stones is something that we've been incorporating in a lot of our rain gardens, so make it interactive. What we found is that if the children are walking past a rain garden, if they see something interactive, like a stepping stone, they're more likely to go with it, engage with it. You can have interactive information, like you can see on the Merton, explaining what the rain garden is to help educate them. Murals and artwork. I think Clyde's going to probably talk about these presentations coming up, so I won't talk too much. But if you can engage with local artists, please do so. We've done some, not just in London, but in the west of England. We're also doing a lot of what we call pocket parks or nature gardens, which have SuDS features in there. So you might recognise one or two of these from Thames Water slides. So, we've got a school there, you've got an amphitheatre, you've got like bug hotels in there, you've put green roofs in there for rainwater collection. And quite a lot of the SuDS gardens we're doing at the moment, if they're next to a school, we encourage the school to get involved in the maintenance and looking after the facilities. This is the one that Thames Water had on earlier. She had it in one of the pictures, so I can talk a bit more about it. It was an area in Merton that attracted a lot of antisocial behaviour. So you can see on the left-hand side, it had high shrubs. It was the perfect place to get up to things you didn't want to get up to, or not be seen, I should say. So working with Merton Council and Thames Water, designed a whole new pocket park nature garden and converted something which is very negative into a positive. So you can't really see it too well, but from the road, there's a drain going into the rain garden from the road, and what would happen is that water would go straight across this area into the train tracks behind it, causing an awful lot of delays for the train going into London. So this is effectively a sponge that created with a nature garden wrapped around it, and the local community have adopted it. So you've got petanque courts, you've got pergolas, you've got different kind of variety of plants native to this region. We also looking at reshaping the high streets. Nature gardens are great for that. We've got quite a few along cycle routes as well. There's Forest Road, again, another Waltham Forest one. The one in the centre there, Hackney, it's a really nice nature area, which before it was just filled full of cars. It had a lot of footfall, so we're turning that negative into a positive using the nature gardens. And we're always looking at diverse planting sessions. So planting sessions is something that we always encourage. So nearly every other project we're involved in involves local community into the nature garden. This was the first one I ever did. I was involved on the day in Coppermill area on Chester Road. I was there on a Saturday, and there was about 30 rain gardens, and they've then adopted it after the first year. But obviously we do a lot of the rain gardens adopted by the schools. We're trying to make it as engaging as possible. We do a lot of outdoor learning and community involvement. So there's another one here. I think Councillor Met Cobain came on the day to help with the planting in a pair of very white new trainers. He managed not to get them dirty, which is amazing, by perching on the edge of the... I don't know if Clyde was there, but maybe it's hilarious. Maintaining the SuDS, I think the biggest barrier that highway engineers have about nature-based SuDS is who's going to maintain them, who's going to look after them. So it's imperative that you have this locked in. When we do a planting scheme, we look at drought-tolerant plants, ones that attract biodiversity, but also are very, very easy to maintain, especially with our summers getting warmer and drier. So often we bundle in the maintenance within the contract value. So it'll be a capital project. Let's say you've got £10,000. What happens is that they lock in a percentage of that £10,000 into the maintenance of it. Typically, you definitely need it over the first 3 months. The amount of maintenance you need and watering does go down, especially if you select the right plant species, and then after 3 years you can hand it over to the local authority plant team, and they require little maintenance. Rain gardening in schools is something that we've been actively engaged in. As I said, we started, if you remember my first presentation, a lot of it was SuDS planters, but now we are moving into rain garden as well as SuDS planters. This is the school that we did in Hounslow, Green School for Girls, another overlap there with Thames Water, who funded this project with Hounslow Council. And you might be able to see from this paving that they did a really poor job. So the rainwater would actually not flow out into the car park onto the road, but actually flow back into the building, causing issues and flooding into the building. So we created a rain garden in the middle of it. We didn't actually know there was a huge tree that had been there before, and the roots were still there. People forgot to tell that until we went below ground and found the huge roots. So that kind of set us back a few days. But the result was quite amazing, you know, and it's now a real feature of the school. And since then, they've not had flooding issues, so it does work. And it's a great project, and I think this one is up for an award. Rain garden outside schools is one of our favourites because it just ticks so many boxes. You know, outside the front of the schools is the #1 location that parents use to drop off kids and leave their engines idling because, you know, they can't be bothered to switch it off or it's cold. It might have zigzag lines, but they will completely ignore that. So this not only prevents the parent from dropping the kids off because it pushes the pavement into the road space, it reduces flooding. So this is an area where if you were to take away car parking spaces or remove it, you're not going to have the pushback from the residents. It improves biodiversity, obviously putting planting there, but it also allows you to educate the children, part of the rain garden. So this is one in St Mary's in Waltham Forest, 200 square metres of rain gardens, and the one on the other side in Barnet, that's Wessex Gardens, Barnet School. So, you know, when you do SuDS, it's not only within the school, but we're now pushing the SuDS schemes to the front of the schools, and that kind of soak up the flooding for that whole area. Okay, I'm going to do something which might not work. Oh, the video works. Clyde could probably talk more about this location itself, but this is, you know, often we get told about we can't put rain gardens on residential roads because there's no space, because the residents will push back. Well, here, the council have managed to do it in this location and turned something, I think this might have been an area that flooded or in a region that had flooding. As I said, Clyde can talk more about it. But, you know, who wouldn't want this? So I'll just let the video play and then I'm going to pass over to the rest of the speakers. Okay, thank you very much. Now for the next speaker, who's next on the speaker. Thank you. This afternoon, sorry, we've got Matthew.